I'm Charlotte Arbogast. Go ahead.
Angie Clark.
Sanella Kozovic.
And we are Team 1 with SBL 285 Serving Learning Project. And we're going to discuss our windshield experience with the tour. I guess I'll start out with the fact that I went on the tour with Dr. Joe. Very interesting. If we, the area that we think we would like to work in or do our experience is with the St. Vincent de Paul area. And where do you girls want to go from here?
Well, and I think we chose that organization after discussing it quite a bit because it seemed like something we all had an interest in, and also it allowed some of the hours that would be possible for us to volunteer and serve. And it's also very close to Mercy, and since we attend school there, I think that's a very, very good organization to become involved with.
Yeah, as Joe said when we were there for our tour, he was telling us how involved with them they are and how he's actually set up a lot of the programs and helped them direct, and a lot of students go there, especially with their school program that's similar to the GED that they have where adult learners come in, try to make themselves better, and there's a program that they have started up for the kids to be watched where the parents are there learning the new steps in life.
Yeah, and that kind of follows what I did some research on the organization as well, because they have a lot of different topics, and Angie just said that we all have busy schedules and everything, so with their variety of topics and with their variety of times, that helps us, coordinate, and then hopefully we can all three find a time to meet and go there together. I mean, I know it's going to be hard, but hopefully we can find at least one good time that we can go. I mean, I saw they had some pantry stuff, they had a store that we could volunteer at, and Charlotte just mentioned some of the educational stuff that they have as well that we can assist with the children and the adults that go to school there. So I think it'll be a good, combination of what we have to offer and what they have to offer to where we can pull the project together and make it really efficient and really nice, because we'll have a lot of insight from different topics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and something. Go ahead, Angie.
Oh, well, I know it's a nonprofit charitable organization, which, I mean, we would have discovered that anyway. It really, this location in Des Moines, they have 2 thrift stores, and I would assume that we're going to be at the one there on 6th Avenue, but they really rely a lot on their volunteers. They only have a small staff of 22 that's paid, apparently, so I can see where there's going to be a lot of value for us to come in and see what their needs are, see what we can do, what we can offer to help meet those needs. They're lacking in that community.
Yeah.
Right. At the St. Vincent de Paul, a lot of families' individual needs are met. There's household items, there's clothing, like you said, there's food. Utilities are helped with, furniture, and etc. Like I said, they have the learning project. They also have, like, in the morning where they give out free bread that's donated from, like, grocery stores and stuff. They'll drop them off the night before, and by 9 o'clock the next morning it's already all gone. Funds from the sales are used to help the needy families. So when they sell stuff there, that money goes right back into their charity, and they help people out with. They also have people who receive things free. So, like, for instance, the secondhand store, if it doesn't sell there, then they move it down the basement. People who need stuff, like, say, immigrants have moved in, have absolutely nothing, they can come there with a little voucher, and they will go with that voucher and take them downstairs, and they'll let them walk through and pick out clothing and stuff like that. Anything they can use, furniture-wise, too. They even sell new mattresses now because of the bed bug problem there everywhere in the United States now. Really cheap mattresses from single to king-size mattresses. Like I said, they have the ESL and the educational classes and the daycare.
And I think some of the clientele that we're going to see, like you said, Charlotte, it's going to be based on, the world situation. So with everybody having bed bugs and all that, but that'll be a big contributor. But in addition, it'll also be the community. And, I mean, it is downtown Des Moines. So not saying anything bad, but of course, there's some good neighborhoods and there's some, okay neighborhoods. And usually people that typically go to these might need more assistance. That doesn't mean that they're not well off. That doesn't mean that they're not doing good and by any means, but we just might see a different variety of people is what I'm getting at. So maybe all the way down from the poor and then all the way up to, just people that are a couple days late on their payment or whatever the case may be. Because as I was looking through it, you mentioned that they do clothing and everything. They do offer free clothing and then the food and then the furniture as well, but then they also do that financial assistance. And then I was kind of digging deeper, and they only have a max of $700. So if it's over 700, they won't pay for it. Which, I mean, you have to draw the line somewhere. They can't be paying for everything, especially if they're a nonprofit, where donations and volunteers are going to be a big deal. And as you mentioned, Angie, we can be, a great help because, I mean, this course is servant leadership, and if we're not setting the example for our community, then who else is going to? I mean,
Well, and Des Moines is very welcoming to refugee populations. I imagine we will either work with directly or at least observe people that are not your typical western suburb of Des Moines, visiting this thrift shop. And that being said, being in the urban area, as you mentioned, Sanella and Charlotte, I know you did the tour. It's an area where it appears they have a lot of vacant lots, which I would conclude that they had homes that have been torn down, but from what I have seen, it looks like the homes are maintained. They're very modest. You might see older vehicles in that area. I know on the street lights there are signs posted for Crime Stoppers and a phone number to call. So I would imagine there's been a history over there, perhaps, of crime. The buildings are older. I mean, it's definitely in an older area of Des Moines, and so I'm looking forward to see who we might meet and be able to help while we're there.
A couple other things that we had covered when we were on the tour the other day was like walking down the sidewalks. The sidewalks weren't near as wide as some of the other ones, and the street lights were right in the middle of the sidewalks. When you're walking, you better be watching where you're going, not talking and not paying attention. You might walk right in the pole. Also, Dr. Joe was telling us about the poverty level, and that area that we're talking about where St. Vincent is, DePaul, actually it's called River Bend, and it has a 40.1% residents that live below poverty level.
Wow.
And walking around, there was several older homes. Some were very well kept, others were run down a little bit, stuff in the yards and stuff. But there is a beautiful old church. It's called CFUM, is the organization that's out of it. Has a beautiful old organ in it. I mean, the organ, probably the big pipes and everything that you would see like in the old days when you see on movies and stuff. It was probably, I'm going to say, 50 feet wide. It was humongous. It was beautiful. And they had redone the whole inside the church. Even though that area is poverty from the tour, everybody you talked to, I'm sure, they were all employees of the different programs, but they were so upbeat and so enthused about what people offered, the people in need and stuff, that it just really opens your heart up and you really think, oh my gosh, I really would like to be here. Matter of fact, that church offers Christmas meals and stuff, and they were going on. Same thing with St. Vincent. He said they had a Christmas Eve supper there in their big storage shed. And I didn't write the number down, but I was thinking he said they had 300 and some people there, and they gave out all kinds of stuff that night. And also 2 people came in off the streets, and don't quote me on the exact dollar, but he was saying something like $3,000. They were handing out $20 bills to everybody, and he said everybody was crying at that thing. So not only the store and the food and help with the educational stuff, but they also have different things for the whole community during the different seasons and stuff too.
Yeah, I think that's a great point because, being a leader, it's not just about just, helping out. It's about seeing all those different changes and how it affects people. That should be, in my opinion, that should be the number one goal, is to see how you can affect other people. I mean, why are you going to lead them and help them in a direction of, positive change from what we've learned this week and last week, with our readings and everything. Positive change was a big topic. So if you're going to help them do that, then you might as well see, those big smiles. And like you mentioned, Charlotte, if it's touching your heart, then it's something that more people need to know about. Because did I know about this organization? No, not until it was offered here. It's like these type of things don't just come about out of the blue. People have to tell you about it. You have to do some research. You have to go to school like we are to do this, or that kind of stuff. It's not just hey, I'm gonna be a leader and I'm gonna go volunteer. I mean, I wish the world was like that, but not many people are going to have that mindset and go do that. So with this organization, I think that we will see a lot of that. And I'm getting chills just talking about it now, because it's like, okay, we are actually making a difference, and it's, it's heartwarming and touching. So.
Well, and touching on some of that from our side, it seems that some of those people would be coming there either to improve their lives or to improve their family lives. So really the value of family and community, becoming a part of the community, having a home, having a place for their families to be, maybe even helping somebody find a job because of the clothing that they're able to obtain there, and change their lives that way. I'm looking forward to the positive impact that we can make, as you mentioned.
One thing that does worry me, though, is that they do have all those restrictions on, which, I mean, like I mentioned before, it's good to have restrictions because you have to draw the line somewhere. We know whether it's a nonprofit or a profit organization, doesn't matter. You have to draw the line somewhere. Mm-hmm. The thing is, like, how did they come up with these numbers? And, I mean, maybe that's not information that they're willing to share. Maybe it is, but just wondering, were there instances where people tried to get more money, and were they trying to get more money because they actually needed it, or were they trying to get more money for the financial assistance where they didn't need it but just wanted to see how much they can get? It's like you kind of have to dig deep and differentiate the people of who's taking care, of the organization, and who's just trying to get as much as they can for free.
Well, I'm sure we're going to learn a lot, if we start talking to some of the people. We might hear some stories that could be not only heartbreaking, but hopefully hopeful for them. Just a moment.
Yeah, I think that they probably came up with limits because of what's happened in the past, maybe even thinking budget-wise. They probably plan ahead and think, okay, we can only give X amount of dollars to this family, because if we don't, then we're not going to. And I'm sure there's probably some times where they are a little bit more lenient depending on that person's, status when they first come in or something. Mm-hmm. But one thing that is really cool is that St. Vincent de Paul, am I right in thinking that? Oh, I'm almost positive, but maybe I'm thinking the wrong organization too. But there is one that the college is working with. Dr. Joe is working with, and I'm thinking it's St. Vincent de Paul, but starting a free clinic for the needy people. That there would be a free walk-in clinic, and the college nurses and stuff would go help in that area. It's a building they have like a couple blocks over. I want to say west, but I'm not real good about directions sometimes, unless I'm actually turning my body that direction. But anyway, a free clinic for walk-ins, and that the college students would help assess people and stuff like that, but they would actually have somebody like nurse practitioners or doctors there that would actually be able to help them more too, which I think is great, because there's not really any place in that area for those people.
Except the hospital.
Except for the hospital, but if you don't have insurance or any way to pay for the copay, that doesn't help you either, A lot of people go without treatment.
Yeah, and that hasn't stopped people. When I was in the emergency room, it didn't stop people from coming in and getting service anyway. But I'm glad to know that's something they're considering, and that would be something I would even love to volunteer if that should ever come to fruition.
Yeah.
Yes. And even for my preceptorship that I've done with some knowledge about that, hospitals do give a good amount, a good chunk of money for free services. But a lot of people don't realize that, yes, they're profit organizations, obviously, and they bill mostly more than, 80%, maybe 70. I don't remember the exact number, but they bill for a lot of their patients. But what I'm getting at is some of us don't realize that hospitals do give out some of those free services. So if that person that you saw, Angie, go into the ER, maybe they didn't have insurance, but it's still the hospital's obligation to serve them. And then, from there they can take it forward or whatever the situation needs to be. I'm sure that they have protocols and all of that I didn't get into that much, but just so, so that we know, that hospitals do that. But I do think that on Charlotte's point that would be great in that area for them to have something like that, I mean, anywhere that you can see.
And a lot of it is sometimes people just don't know what resources are or are not available in their neighborhood. If they don't have ability to drive anywhere, that might be the closest place they have right now is that hospital. So having a clinic right there would be really beneficial for them. But I do think I'd be interested to find out when we are volunteering to learn how people found out about the St. Vincent de Paul Society and what brought them there and have they been there before, things like that, because kind of tells you truly where the needs are, what are they lacking, if they're just starting fresh or if they're met hard times in their lives. I mean, I'm hoping we just have an opportunity to really talk to them about that.
Yes, I agree. I think that would be a stepping stone to, not only getting to know them like you mentioned and finding the needs, but that's where our leadership would come into play, because the more we know about what they want, the more we can help them reach their goals, and we can help them, with depending on the organization, obviously, and their resources, but how we can assist them to what they actually need.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be a good thing, and that's something for us to remember maybe on our actual PowerPoint and stuff, but toward the end when we do it, is by asking people when they come in, how did you find out this, or how did you, get in this direction for the help and guidance from them, as well as, find out how they even came about as far as if they're immigrants into the area and that's where they were located, or if they had an adopted family, because there was like another group that was talking about being adopted families for immigrants that can't speak English and stuff, and that was one other thing, but I thought, I don't know any foreign language, so I'd be SOL there. But
I do think that's a good point, Charlotte, to use it in our PowerPoint. That would be, that could even be like one of our openers, because, having a list of all of their, why did you choose this, or how did you find about this, and then after that we can go into a little bit more detail about what the organization offers and how they would assist to these needs of these specific individuals that we just mentioned too. So.
Perfect. Yeah, and I think if we can take a camera, and if anybody will let us take pictures, maybe we'll have to ask the college about that, and if we have to have something signed if we use pictures, I don't know, because like at the hospital when you're an employee, the first thing you sign is one of the things that they can use your picture for anything. So, I guess we'll have to have permission probably if we take their pictures, is my logical guess, but that would be kind of cool for our PowerPoint too, maybe take a person and find out how they got here and how they found out about it, and maybe step through just like a couple pages with them if they're biological, or not biological stuff, but you know what I mean. How they got started,
I think we're gonna find when we go back to this video, when we're preparing our presentation, we're going to have found we learned quite a lot from what we know today in February. What we know by the end of the course, from what we've learned from being over there.
Yes.
I think so too. Is there anything else on the windshield that we need to really kind of cover? we've talked about the history a little bit, the buildings being older. There's also across from St. Vincent's, there's apartment houses, similar. And from my understanding from Joe, that there's a couple sisters that live in that area over in there too, that actually helped start, Mercy, the big picture of Mercy and stuff. They were involved with that, and he keeps in contact with them. Like, so there's churches, there's a school down there, and I can't remember. I keep thinking of it as like Hoover School. Does that sound familiar? I'm not from Des Moines. Does that Hoover School sound familiar to you guys? That the old school building there now is called Moulton School or something like that. Right. And a lot of really poverty level kids go there. The church that I talked to you about earlier feeds those kids in the morning as well as in the evening. Let's see. What else can I tell you about the tour? That I was really amazed. Actually, to be quite honest, we went on that tour and we started walking. You remember, I'm from a smaller town, and when I've driven up in that area before, like when I missed my turn when I first went to visit the college, and I went down that street quite a ways, I'm thinking, I better turn around and go back the other direction. I'm going the wrong way. I could be in serious trouble. Because, the first impression, and that's what's wrong with our world today, is everybody lots of times go by their first impression and never give anybody a second chance,
It's really a beautiful area over there. I know, just on a side note, on the mayor's annual ride that they have in the spring, that it's taken the bicyclists through that area, and it was really an eye-opener. It's been quite a few years since we did that, but it really is a beautiful area over there, and it's nice that we have the opportunity to be able to serve the people and hopefully make a difference for them. One of the things I think I mentioned earlier, I'm willing to get a hold of Tammy over there and sort of find out what our role might be, maybe get some more information from her, just so that we have a good understanding of where this is going to go, what we're going to be involved with, and where we can take it, and then come back and talk to you all about it. Just seeing what days and hours might work for them to have us come, not commit us. I won't commit anybody to anything, but I'm just saying it'll give us a little more information on when we need to be there and what we'll be doing.
Yes.
Okay.
That'd be fine with me. That'd be perfect.
I'll try and get a hold of her tomorrow then and set something up next week if that works for her.
Yeah, that would be great to get us, a little head start and see when we can, start planning, because believe it or not, it's going to be the end and we're going to flash before our eyes and we're not even going to know what hit us. So.
Right. Looking over the rest of this, is there anything else anyone wants to add? Maybe, not to put you on the spot, is there anything you hope to learn? I mean, aside from some of the basics that we know are the big issues of what the needs are in that area, but is there anything anyone else wants to learn? I mean, I kind of want to learn. It's been a while since I volunteered. I kind of want to see if that's still in me, to really want to make a change and a difference in somebody's life, I guess. It's very simple.
Yeah. Well, one of my big things is, they provided the mission statement. It's on their website, and so did Professor as well. And, my big thing is I want to see how they, relate that mission statement to what they do, and how not only them, but really anybody that's helping with the organization should rely on that mission statement. So with that being said, even us going in, we should make sure that we are addressing the mission statement, making sure that we're following it, making sure that, we can do anything that we can. Because, with all my experience at Mercy, which, hasn't been, ages or anything, but the little experience that I have had, they focus a lot on their mission, and it's all the values and beliefs that they have, and then that's what they stress to their employees, to anybody that walks in through that door. That should be understanding, hopeful, and knowledgeable of the mission, the values, and the beliefs. So I think just the more that we interact with them, we'll get to find that, and we will see you know, how much it relates and how good of a job they're doing, which I'm sure they're doing a great job, but the fact is, are all those people understanding what is going on and how much they're obtaining and how much they're doing and all of that too. So that's one thing that I think would be interesting to see.
I agree.
Well, and I know, I just want to add one more thing because we were talking about the mission. I know as nursing students, I'm getting an echo here. So we might try and tie in the Mercy core values too just a little bit, because I know that really applies to person to person, you know, having reverence and integrity and excellence and everything in the service that we do, so serving them well. And then also, I know that long list, it's hard to remember the long list of the characteristics of the servant leader, but maybe we try and keep some of that in mind as they're serving.
Yes, I think we do have some characteristics from, are you talking about Greenleaf's characteristics?
Yes.
And then I had actually some relation to Maxwell's book as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I agree with both of them, but there are a couple of things that I would have my own opinions on, as I'm sure we all would. So, you know, I think that would be a great twist to relate what we're doing to that too. So
maybe demonstrate how we displayed that in our actions towards others while we're serving the community. Maybe bring that all together when we do our PowerPoint. Charlotte, do you have anything you want to add or that you're looking forward to doing?
No, actually, I'm looking forward to meeting you guys in person and actually working with you guys. I think we have a good team because we all sound like we're want to do what's correct and the right way to do it and make sure that our core values and the mission values and everything's all there, which is what we deal with every day as a Mercy employee too, you know. Mm-hmm. But I think we got a good start. And one thing I wanted to mention about, though, talking about children, you know, all those children are around there for the school and stuff. There is only one playground in that whole area, and that's over by the Salvation Army. And all the walking, and that's just there's only one playground for all those kids to go to.
That's like a block south from St. Vincent de Paul, I think. Closer is if you were walking from there to Mercy Hospital, it's about a block closer to Mercy, I guess. So now. Mm-hmm. But that's truly unfortunate because that's one of my things in life that I truly believe children need a place to be able to play and be safe, and that would be one area that definitely could use a nice playground, nice park.
Yes.
You come around here where I'm at in a suburb and we have parks all over the place, so it's really unfortunate. It's kind of interesting how our priorities are, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to say now, I live out in the country, so we have all the freedom we want. We can run around the yard. I won't tell you how my husband and son do it. But anyway, I love it out here in the country. It's peaceful.
Yeah.
The only noise I hear is once when a vehicle's going by or the coyotes if they're too close to the house at night when you go to bed, or the screech owl, but otherwise it's pretty peaceful and beautiful out here with stars and everything. So it makes you really thankful for what you have when you visit an area like that.
At least you're not hearing your neighbor's alarm.
Yeah, your neighbor's alarm.
Anyway, so Angie, if you want to check in and see what times are available and how they want us to do that, I'll let you do that. That'd be wonderful.
Okay.
And
I'm not going to commit us to anything. I mean, like, I'll just say, you know, if we can be flexible, do we need to call you before we come, or do we just show up?
And I have a question for you, Angie. When you talk to her, can you see if there's an email that we can get from her? Usually with me, it's easier for me to email than it is to sit on the phone and talk, only because my schedule at Kosama is, I never know, it's all over the place type thing, so it's just easier. I can always schedule a time to talk, but you know, catching her and catching me, it's be easier to email. So
I'll definitely find that out for you and get the information to both of you.
Awesome.
Okay, so Okay, I know we put that little, learn about each other, but let's get off the topic of what we're going to do our servant leadership on. I'd like to know a little bit more about you girls. Is that okay?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Okay, I'm in my 50s. I have a 28-year-old daughter and a 14-year-old son. I work full-time. I'm going to school for my BSN, and I'm on my last term. I have 3 classes. I can't wait. A week from today, I'm having surgery on my right foot, so I will be on crutches, and I've got that okayed with Steve, the guy up there, that if I was on crutches, could I still come and do my clinical leadership stuff? And he said not a problem, that they would work with me and stuff. I love to cook, bake. I love to be outside. I'm actually looking forward to having like a big garden again like I used to, and playing in the yard, as I say it, of flowers and stuff, and then just join my family. My son is very talented both in sports and academic, and thank you for being patient with me tonight, because he was actually talking to a recruiter as a freshman for baseball. And I know that sounds way off because I thought the same thing, but when you talk to him, and we were on the internet and stuff with him just like we are now, it's like it just makes me feel all nice and warm inside.
Yeah.
Because he's got so much talent, and and there's academic wise too. He's a straight A student, so he's got both good sides of the world working for him, and I feel very fortunate and lucky.
That's great. Sonala, do you want to go?
Sorry. Sure, I can go. I work full time at Kosama, which is a fitness gym. Not many have heard about it. However, it is kind of getting more popular in the Des Moines area, just because we have a little bit more Kosama locations here than we do in a lot of other places. But anyway, that's what I do there. So I manage that, and then I also help coach, obviously, there too. So that's why my schedule is kind of crazy. I might coach in the morning or in the evening. So it just kind of gets a little hectic, and I mean, working out all the time is a little tiring. So depending on how many classes I have to coach, I get tired all the time. But I got married about 2 years ago, and that's been fun and everything. We don't have any kids yet, so that's something to look forward to, I guess. But just kind of taking things as it is. I'm finishing out my healthcare administration here. I have my associates just in general health sciences, and then I switched my major a couple times. So I was going for pre-med, and then I got married. So then I wanted to do PA school, which that is still up in the air right now. After I finish here, I might continue, or I might go to get my master's in healthcare administration. I just haven't quite decided my path besides, moving on from here. And then, if kids come, that even gets tough. So I give you 2 props for doing everything that you do.
Well, it sounds like quite an adventure you've had the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Well, I went to college, I went to grad school, I ended up working here in Des Moines for several years as a paralegal at Principal, and then into workers' compensation as a claims manager for another insurance company, and I really liked that. So I decided to go back when I was 35 to get my nursing degree. And then my daughter was born just a month after I graduated from Mercy College in 2008. So I've been raising her as a single mom, and I work for my family. We have a business, and I work with my brothers and my sister with that, and my parents. So that's been fun. But recently, I was telling Charlotte that a friend of mine has been sick, and I've been helping to take care of her. So that's really allowed me to apply some of my nursing skills, which are very dated, and I don't know that I'll actually ever practice as a nurse in the hospital setting, but maybe more of a clinic or a hospice setting, if that's possible. After this class, I have 3 classes left, and I'm hoping to finish this summer with my bachelor's in nursing, because I believe they want us to have that now. That bachelor's in history I did the first time around isn't worth much when you're talking about nursing. So that's where I'm at. So Charlotte and I had a chance to kind of talk about these career changes that we've made, and it's been a good conversation and nice to get to know both of you tonight.
Yes.
And as I was telling Angie, I've only actually been an RN since I was 48, and I'm in my 50s. So I'm a late bloomer, but I don't regret it one bit. I really enjoy my job. I'm actually in the infusion department, so I do a lot of wound care, dressing changes, injections, IVs, chemo, and I do work in oncology once in a while too. So, as you were saying, hospice maybe. As I age a little bit more, maybe I'll go to hospice too, because those people, there is nothing like taking care of one of them. Even though they're the most sick people in the world, they are the best spirited people, and they're the most loving people. Passionate. I mean, they just, yeah, I can't say enough. I didn't think I would want to do that because I actually lost my mom to cancer a few years ago, but it gives you a great feeling.
Well, I think my aunt was a sister. She actually went to Mercy College and became a nurse as a second career. She passed away this past fall, and I was with her at Bishop Drum quite often those last few weeks of her life, and I think it just kind of reinforced what I think I might want to do. I just don't think I don't think the wound care is necessarily something for me, and definitely not giving shots, or drawing blood for that matter. So I know there's a place for all of us, whether it's healthcare administration or as a PA, Sanella. That's a wonderful profession to go into, or in the many hats that you wear, really, Charlotte, as a nurse, and all that you do every day, or wherever they find a need for you to be.
Yeah, I think we all have a great, both of you have a great background, and I think we all can contribute, especially even, to this. And then, like you said, there's a home for everyone, and that's what one of my old basketball coaches, I used to play basketball, and that's what she always used to say is there's a home for everyone. If it's not, at this position, it's in another position. So that's just kind of what you have to go by and have hopes and dreams and goals. So.
Yep, never give up on your dream.
No, I agree. Well,
I think we are good.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's good. So,
all right. Have a great weekend, girls.
You too. I'll follow up with
Thank
you as soon as possible from what I learned with Tammy.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good night.
What I'm going to do, girls, is I'm going to stop this when we're done, and then I'll probably take it to work tomorrow and upload it, because otherwise it'll probably take 6 hours from here. At work, I'll probably take 5 minutes, okay?
Okay.
So I probably won't upload it until tomorrow morning, okay?
That's fine.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks. Have a good evening.
Okay.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.